trying to be a better person. I definitely still have work to do, so I'm not a perfect person. But I will say, I am confident enough to say that I am better than most. You know, you won't get little F-boy vibes from me. That's like, no that much. My name is Chibuike A. I am 29 years old. I am Nigerian, Abia State, and I currently reside within the DMV. What I've gathered from, the women I've dated, you get some that are a little more, you get some that are a little more my way or the highway, kind of like, this is how I'm used to things, and this is how you gotta fit into what I'm doing. It makes sense to me, so if it don't make sense to you, something's wrong with you, And then sometimes you get those that are a little more, I don't want to say low self-esteem, but they're not as confident in themselves as most. Any crazy dude would have kind of walked all over them and treated them anyhow. That's why I say I look for balance. I'm not looking for anybody that's gonna be like, whatever I say, they're just gonna do whatever. Or I'm not looking for somebody that's like uber aggressive and like trying to tell me like how things are gonna run, and I think overall, that's kind of the things I've seen. Some are a little bit more emotional than others, but that's relationship. I guess it's more attitude than anything. I've dealt with people who have an interesting attitude because of things, and others that are just, they're very nice, but you can tell you might not be for them because this is something very off about it. When girls would say, niggas ain't this, niggas ain't that. And I used to be like, yo, what are you talking about? I know who I am. I'm not any of these people you're talking about. And I realized, these girls go through so much, so they have that mindset, which is like, okay, hey, I may not be that, but I really do understand why you don't like these guys, because you've dated, and all these guys tend to be the same that you find. What I would say, which I don't know if it's a flaw. I don't even think it's a flaw, but I honestly I would say girls, sometimes girls have these and it's important to have standards, but sometimes you're looking for Idris, when you should be looking for somebody else, saying, which is not, I'm not saying don't aim for Idris, but don't be mad when you don't find him. There's plenty of eligible dudes out here. No one's asking you to settle. It's just they're more asking you to open your eyes, expand your horizon. I see too many people out here that you wouldn't, unconventional relationships where you're like, oh, I didn't think they could get together. I didn't think he could get her. And it's not even a whole thing where he got money. It's just the girl opened her eyes or expanded her horizon and saw the good in this guy, and they're together and she's living happy. So I think that's probably the only thing I would say to women, hey, just open your eyes just a little bit. The guy you're looking for, you could have overlooked him. You can't go through this life without facing rejection, especially from women. It probably got to me when I was younger in early college, sophomore year. But then, it took one visit to a barbershop where an old head told me you know how many you're gonna get rejected from girls at least once a week. The mindset is rejection's gonna come. Rejection's gonna come. It's not a big deal. That person you're looking for is out there. It's like when you apply for jobs. You're not getting every job you apply for. Someone's gonna send you a rejection letter, But it is what it is. I think I was more upset because I really would have my eyes set on said girl and be like, okay, cool. That's who. I envision everything. That's my girl. That's who I gotta get her. And it didn't happen. That's when it's oh, that hurt a little bit. As you get older, no, rejection is rejection. The next girl awaits. It's all a gamble. You go and talk to a girl, if she don't give you a number, you keep it moving. She don't accept you, you keep it moving. There's, you know, it is what it is at the end of the day. My mom is, you know, I love her, but she can tend to, you know, constantly bring it up. Literally the day after graduating, she was like, okay, it's time to find somebody, you know, and, you know, I told her, like, it's like every other phone call where she brings up, hey, you know, you're not getting any younger. So, you know, the pressure is there, quote unquote, but I suppress that pressure a lot because, you know, I know when it's right, you know, I'll know it's right. And, you know, I'm not going to feel a sense of urgency to do it. Of course, you know, the infamous dating apps, those are, you know, those were definitely a hit, especially last year. So you know, I can't even deny I definitely used Hinge for sure to mingle. Probably, I'd say about 5, 6 dates last year. A couple of them weren't too fruitful, and then there was definitely one that was, you know, pretty serious. You know, it was pretty nice. It just didn't manifest anything at that time. So I did have a girlfriend at the time. It was nice. I had met her organically. It honestly, like when I first met her, it felt like, you know, we knew each other for years. Like, ironically, I didn't know I was even following her on social. We had gotten into a Twitter argument once, so I didn't even know all this until I met her, and I was like, oh, that was you. So, yeah, I mean, I have no animosity. I don't have any animosity towards anybody, but specifically who I was last with, like, there's no animosity, period. You know, like, I'm still cool with them.
You miss her?
Do I? There's certain aspects of things you miss. There's certain aspects of things you miss, but you know, you'd be lying to yourself if there's like you don't go through your days and think of like a nice memory. You know, I'd be lying if I said that. But oh yeah, you know, do I miss her enough to go back? I will say what led to ours. There was a lot of arguments, you know, within the relationship. But you know, we'd always find a way to reconcile those arguments. But the relationship ended pretty mutual, I would say. It didn't end bad. It didn't end good. It was just kind of an understanding that like this is what this is what needs to happen. You know, my last relationship, right after I went to therapy because of the relationship and you know how things kind of ended and just the thought, you know, the thinking within the relationship, I realized like, man, I kind of really do need to do this and talk to somebody unbiased and doesn't know me, like someone professional. So I'm very thankful for the relationship that kind of led me to therapy. You know, sometimes in relationships, doesn't matter if it's a situationship or you can be talking to someone for a few weeks, you always learn something, even if it's a tiny detail. So, you know, that's what I kind of picked up, you know, therapy. That's one big thing I learned in therapy was, like, for me personally, I have a lot of characteristics outwardly, like that's like, oh my gosh, like it's gonna get me in the door, let's say. But, you know, what's in-house, like those characteristics, like for instance, I learned in my last relationship that I can be a tad bit selfish. And you can't take that to a relationship because that's not going to help the relationship out. So, you know, just like something like that, just learning like, you know, to really put yourself in the other person's foot, really, you know, pay attention to detail. And, you know, it definitely helps out with the relationship for sure. So, you know, I definitely learned that, especially in therapy, because, you know, I was doing it, but not consistently. So, you know, I learned so much about myself. So I feel like in that season that I did, I groomed myself to be ready for someone else. So, you know, nobody wants to be single forever. So, you know, like, I feel like my eye is always open, you know, ready to look for somebody. And hopefully, you know, that happens. So. I've never had a girl outside of like a relationship pay for me on a date. Like I don't know where that notion ever came from. If I'm asking you on a date, I'm paying. Simple. No 50-50 split. You know, I'm not. No.
But what if she asks you?
if she asks me on a date, I'm very hesitant because it doesn't feel easy. I think maybe that's more of a pride and ego thing. Like I don't feel easy not paying for a date, even in a relationship. But I also understand it's a relationship, so there's give and take. But a girl asking me on a date.
What if a girl shoots her shot at you?
That's happened to me before. I've been thrown off before because you don't expect it ever. Girls rarely shoot their shots, or at least openly shoot their shot at you. But when it happens, a lot of times, at least when it's happened to me, it's never anybody that I would have my eyes on. Me when I get it, I probably do the same thing that girls do. Like I kindly turn it down. Not all of like none of the times that I've been shot, like a shot has been shot at me, hasn't been anybody that I would actually see myself with. So I respectfully turn it down. But I've been shot before. It's definitely culture shock for sure because you don't expect a girl to say, "Hey, what's up?" Like that's your job as a guy. But once you get that shell shock out of your system, it's like, oh, she's really trying to shoot her shot.
Would you be okay if if it's a girl that you're attracted to?
Oh yeah, I wouldn't mind. But even still, when a girl shoots her shot, even if it's somebody that you could see yourself with, in turn, like I always look at it as like she's opening the door, she's telling you she's opening the door. Now, what are you gonna do? Now that she's opened the door for you, because girls really shoot their shot more times than not. This is they do it very quietly and subtle, like they don't outwardly tell you like, hey, I'm feeling you. They rarely do that, so regardless, like if the girl is giving you a lane, now it's your turn to like, now what are you gonna do with it? So it's always like, yeah, she can shoot, but what are you going to do to maintain that? Because she ain't shooting at just anybody, you know what I'm saying? So the shooting, when girls shoot, it always ends up back with the guy anyway. I have plenty of Nigerian friends that are guys, and what I've kind of gathered from a lot of them, they don't look for the full qualities within the woman. They just kind of look for what looks good. Like a girl like that might be holding them down. They could be a friend, but they definitely could be a potential somebody for them. They're holding them down, they're doing this, that, and the third, giving a lot of relationship qualities, but they want the girl that, that Nigerian girl that has looks, or, may not have all the characteristics that you want. Maybe their characteristics aren't that great, but because she looks good, you kind of throw that away because you know that if you get with her, in your head, you'll be satisfied. And there's entitlement to, like, I got money, I got house, so I should be able to select whoever I want, which is technically, yeah, sure. No girl has taken them out of their ways, or is, like, if they feel it, like, I feel like a lot of these dudes, they grew up never having to really put in work to get a girl. Like it's for the most part it's probably been handed to them, or the girl really likes the dude, so they didn't have to put in any work, or try to there was no chase. With that, they don't know how to pursue the girl that they would actually want. And even when they do, it's so easy for them to get somebody or anybody else. Like they're kind of like in a way securing their bag while they go and see what's else out there, having their cake and eat it too, which is the mentality. And that's even with F-boys too. Like they are the same way. Like they can. It's easy for them to get what they like. If they're looking for what they're looking for, they will find it, and they will see a girl that's holding them down and make sure that they can't lose her, but they also can't get out of the streets and and actually come to their senses. Those guys end up being single until like they're 35, 40 years old. So those ones are not like the ones that no girl would even really want, outside of just like sensual. Like if you're really looking for a husband, that's not them. In the past, I used to be this like hyper aggressive, like every girl I see, I gotta try and talk to. No, now I'm a little more calculated. If I see somebody I like, I try to do this, the small steps, try to become friends. I don't try to go straight. Some people do like that, but no more. I'm more like, let's get to know each other. So dating has been a lot better for me now than it definitely was before. I typically look for people who, match my vibe, have a keen sense of humor, are independent in their own right, can just, bring a sense of balance. I prefer, if I had a number one option, prefer her to be Nigerian. I'm straight away from just specifically Igbo, but Igbo is technically number one, but when it comes to Nigerian, it just be Nigerian.
You never know. Somebody could slide in your DMs after this documentary.
Yeah. Listen, after seeing.
Are you talking to anybody right now?
Right now, no.
No.
I'm not talking to nobody. I don't even think I have my mindset ready to talk to anybody right now. Would I be open to? Absolutely, though. Yeah, like I said, my eyes are always open to talking to somebody, but I'm less aggressive than I was when I was younger. If it's right, I definitely make my move. If something comes from it, then yeah, absolutely. You're gonna see where it goes. And and on top of that, I'm not I'm not one to talk to like 5, 6 girls at a time. Like me, I'm a terrible multitasker. So one girl, if it doesn't work, I move on. You know what I'm saying? But if it's good, I stay fixated on that. And
Are you the good morning text type of guy? Good morning.
I can be. It depends on the vibe. Like some people don't like that at all. Like there's certain things you test out with people. Like if they like that, if they're a caller or a texter, or if they're a good morning texter. I can be somebody that definitely sends out that good morning text. But just be prepared. It's gonna be the same morning text from the day before.
Shut up.
I'll say, when it comes to dating, like one big thing I've learned is, if in your heart it doesn't feel right, don't prolong it. Don't lead the person on. Don't go to a limit of no return. It's okay to date around. I've learned like every person you date is not the one, so it is okay to date. I also think that we need to be more intentional with dating. The older we get, it's time to stop playing with people's emotions on both sides, guys and girls. I just think in general, like if we're dating, like we have some intent, we're ready, and then we go ahead and do what we need to do and find that special somebody. That's all I have to say about that.